So this video is called Philosophical Primer. I know it's a bit pompous name, I couldn't come up with a better name, but it is important because what we're going to do in this SSU is something which you're not very used to or familiar to, which is try to learn stuff that will help you be a better doctor from watching films, which is not like what you've been doing up until now. And the stuff you learn and what it means and the words to understand that stuff are ideas that come from philosophy. And I need you to understand 3 or 4 ideas that I didn't understand when I came to medical school, because I am assuming, like me, you came into medicine from natural sciences, so you're very good at biology and chemistry and things like that, but don't know very much about philosophy and humanity. So there are specifically 3 ideas that you need to get your head round before we even sit down to watch a film, and I thought I'd spend some time explaining them to you. So these 3 ideas are what is epistemology, what is methodology, and what are aesthetics. So the first one, so epistemology, which is the brand of philosophy that studies knowledge. Yes. So first question, what is knowledge? What is to know something? What is to really know something? What is to understand something? As opposed to having an opinion or having an inkling, or having the experience. Those are questions that belong in this field of epistemology, which is not just what is knowledge, but how do we know that knowledge is knowledge, and how do we trust certain types of knowledge and not others. Yeah? So the first level is the difference between data, information, and knowledge, and wisdom. So these are different layers of epistemology. So, for instance, having the information that a fruit is a vegetable that has the seeds inside and the flesh outside, yes, and having the data that a tomato has the seeds inside and the flesh outside, therefore a tomato is a fruit. That's knowledge, because you have the information and the data. But then you can also have the wisdom to know that not because it's a fruit, it belongs in a fruit salad. So there is a difference between having data, having information, having knowledge, and having wisdom. Yes, and part of the context of that, part of the process of that is understanding how information and knowledge links to yourself and to the environment and to the context, and the difference between something factual and something truth and something meaningful. Yes? Anyway, that's a whole area of philosophy of knowledge. Why is this important to the SSU and to medicine? Well, it is important to the SSU because you're going to come across in what we're going to do information and knowledge about things and in a way that doesn't mirror your previous experience of knowledge. So you come to this SSU, I am assuming, with the same level of knowledge I did when I came from the biological sciences. So knowing about biology and about mathematics and chemistry. And what we're going to do is something that belongs more to the social science or the humanities or art, which is things like having opinions and understanding meaning, and how we create meaning in narratives. And that's an epistemological jump from the type of knowledge that characterizes the sciences you're familiar with and the type of knowledge that characterizes the humanities and art. And I need you to understand that we're still in the field of knowing things. More specifically, we're going to learn and we're going to experience and practice making meaning out of stories, yes? Which is a kind of knowledge that is central to medicine. In medicine, if you're not able to understand what people's stories mean, and you don't you're not able to draw meaning from your experience of stories of patients, you're not going to be a good doctor. Yes? So the epistemology of understanding narratives and creating meaning from that is essential to this SSU. That's the first idea, epistemology. Yes? The second idea, methodology. Yes? Methodology is one of these words that you must be familiar with. You read scientific papers and there's a section that says methodology, and it says we collected data with a questionnaire and we used T analysis or an SPSS to get a calculation of the power we needed to prove the null hypothesis. Yes, the methodology. I'm sorry, but that is a method, not a methodology. So a method is how you go about getting knowledge. A methodology is the ideas that make you choose that method. Yes? So why do you do that experiment, or why do you collect that data in that way in order to get the conclusion? That is methodology, not how you do it, but why you do it. Yes? So this is important because different areas of science have different methodologies. You remember, because they have different epistemologies. So the methodology you are used to, because you come from the biological sciences, is empiricist, positivist methodologies that says you can acquire knowledge by looking at reality and testing it empirically, and there is knowledge to be gained. You know, there is such thing as pi, and there is such thing as better antibiotic than another. So we are so imbued in that methodology that when we come across the methodology that's apt for the social sciences and the art, we don't quite understand it. Yes? And it's important that you understand that social science has a different methodology, because there is no such thing as pi or fact in social science. So you want to understand a society, you cannot conduct experiments. You need to have other methods. You need to do things other than randomized control trials. The methods used in biological science don't work for social science, and even less for art. Yes. So the methodology of art is the study of text and the linking of text with subtext, which is very different than doing a randomized control trial. And you need to understand that that is the methodology appropriate for that area of knowledge. So if you want to understand a cell, you use biological methods. If you want to understand a society, or how come a society behaves in a particular way, or even psychology, you need to use another methodology. And the methodology we're going to use in this SSU is the methodology of social science, humanities and the arts, which is deliberation and discussion and experience and reflection. So that's what the second idea, which is the idea of methodology. The third idea is even more wishy-washy, which is the idea of aesthetics, which is the branch of philosophy that studies value. So aesthetic value or beauty. Yes, but in general, beauty and value. What is valuable about things that are beautiful or not? Or why do we ascribe value to certain things and not to others? So it's the idea of, is my opinion of this film more valuable than your opinion of this film? Is subjective means there is no objective difference. All that area is called aesthetics. And when I do the video on the particular or aesthetical understanding of film, I'll be able to elaborate that a little bit, but you need to understand that the area of philosophy that covers aesthetics, I've given you a few links if you're interested in knowing more about these philosophical concepts to YouTube videos that explained it much better than I could possibly do it. And that's the end of the philosophical primers. Thank you for listening.